In this video, I finally finished installing the new carpet in the Civic. Let's get to it. At the end of the last carpet install video, I was finishing up my initial cuts on the new carpet and I was getting ready to install it. I got the carpet in the car, and for the most part, it went as I planned. There was one part though that I did mess up on. I cut the section for the parking brake a little too big. But I convinced myself that if everything else went well, I could patch that section and it wouldn't be a big deal. This process was pretty tedious. I had to line the holes in the carpet up with the hole or the feature in the floorboard or the side of the car. Before I enlarged the hole so that the fastener for the hole could fit through it, I made sure that the carpet was pressed down and in the location it would be once everything was installed. Although the rubber backing did make it more difficult to cut, at this point, all I had left to do was to install all the trim pieces and put the seats in. The old carpet has this trim piece on both sides by the door. It's connected with those there, and it has this shield to protect the wiring. I have to trim the new carpet down to the proper size and then somehow attach this if I want it to be like it was. These are staples. I have a staple gun, but it doesn't do those sorts of turns on the staple. So I got to see how to do this. But first I got to do some trimming. Here, I was trying to make sure the carpet fit under the trim that was behind the passenger side door. And then I started to prepare the carpet so that it would fit under the trim at the bottom of the door jamb. The more I played with it, the more I realized how challenging it would be to make it fit properly. But to even try it, I had to remove the door jamb trim from the old carpet. So this is the underside of the old carpet again. And I would like to remove these fasteners off of these plastic studs, for lack of a better word, in order to preserve it and have the same sort of system to hold down the carpet as was on the original one. And I'm having trouble getting them off. So I'm going to try a few things. All right, so after going 0 for 2 on the first two I tried to take off, I was successful on the third one. What I ended up using was this pick. There's always space on either side of this fastener to get under and pry the little tabs up. So I did that and eventually it worked it off. So that's what I'm going to do with the rest of them. There you go. Seems like this one has mushroomed a little bit. For the most part, they came off okay, but I did have trouble with one of them. Well, that one just broke. So I got this one off, and I have most of the fasteners. There are 8 total, and 7 of them I have. One shot off somewhere and I haven't been able to find it. So now I have to take this part off, and it's just held on with some staples, and that should be pretty easy. To remove the staples, I just straighten them using a screwdriver or a pick. After that, some would come out easily, but if they didn't, I would just pull them out with some pliers. All right, now it's free. Now I need to see how to use this to secure the new carpet. This is where the rubber backing made it too difficult. It was too thick to reconnect the fasteners to the trim, and I would have had a really hard time trying to staple it to the white plastic. So I ordered another carpet. Same color, same everything, except I did not choose the upgraded backing. It made the other carpet too thick for me to turn some of the corners I needed to. This new one, like the stock one, does not have the upgraded rubber backing. So hopefully this will be easier to work with. So I had to prep it and trim it just like I did the other carpet, but this time it went much faster. It was easier to cut, and I had one time under my belt, so it went a little smoother. I also paid special attention to the one area that I cut too large on the previous carpet. I just kept making small cuts until it was just big enough for the console to go on. Now, I love tinkering and working on these old cars, but it is not fun to have to redo such a tedious job. But if you have a friend that wants to help, it can turn frustration into fun. So I was happy when my friend Joe decided to come help. That is him on the driver's side in the orange shirt. At this point, we had finished installing the center console and the lower dash trim, but we wanted to install the seats before we finished the door trim. I was concerned that while we were installing the seats, the brackets may tug on the carpet in a way that may move the edges. We had to do a little bit of trimming around the bolt holes as we installed the seats, but having an extra set of hands made it a lot easier to install the new seats over the new carpet. Hit me up in the comments if you've ever installed Integra seats into an EG or an EJ Civic. I thought it would be a direct bolt-in, and for the most part it was, but for both seats I had to get a longer bolt for one of the rear brackets. It was getting late, so Joe and I called it a night. The trim would have to wait for the next day. As I was installing the carpet, there were some areas that I just couldn't get to lay right. But once I got the seats in, I realized that very little of the carpet is actually seen. But now, it was time to attack the trim. This is going to be fun. I have to sandwich the carpet between this white plastic and this gray trim here, ideally in the locations of these points here, which are, some of them are pretty damaged from removing the old carpet. Let me show you what it looks like before it gets taken off the old carpet. So the carpet is attached to this plastic piece with the staples, and the plastic piece is attached to the gray trim with these fasteners. I don't know what they're called. Maybe I'll look them up and give you a proper name. But I have some from removing the other side, and I have some that may work that I got from the hardware store. So let's get at it. So I got a new stapler. These are called plier staplers. I didn't know that. And I got some new staples. So I'm going to try and duplicate this with the new carpet. So what I'm gonna try and do is position the carpet where I want it to finally sit and fold it over to see what I need to trim and where I need to attach the white plastic. That will be easier said than done, because I do have some buckling here that I don't know quite. I really don't know how to get rid of it. Yeah, so it seems to fit okay back here and seems to fit okay up here, but at this hump it seems a little weird. So I'm just going to do the best I can, and hopefully the trim will cover it. So I put the white piece in place, and then I held the carpet up against the edge so that I could see any excess. Anything that went over the lip, I cut off. So I got the stapler loaded, but after looking at it, I don't think this is heavy duty enough. The staples on the original carpet seem to be a bit more heavy duty, but if they work, I'll leave them in. Yeah, these are not the right type of staples. So I'm gonna see if I can make them work, and then just get some heavy duty staples to put on later. I am ready to get this car out of here. Oh, they're the wrong type of staples, but they hold it pretty good. So I'm going to keep using them and see how far I can get with it. So I now have the carpet stapled to the plastic piece that goes beneath it. Now I need to duplicate this section. So it is not going through the plastic and the carpet. If you look closely, the carpet is cut out around where this fastener goes. So it's like a little trapezoid. So now I have to do that on the new carpet. So there's a hole there. And I'm going to be a little conservative. I'm not going to cut such a big trapezoid, but I want it to be big enough. And really, it doesn't have to be a trapezoid as far as I'm concerned. So that's one, and I'm just going to repeat it for the rest of them. So now all the little trapezoids are cut, and I'm going to try and attach the final piece of trim. So I preserved enough of these to match up with the surviving tabs that are on the old trim, so let's give it a shot. So these press back on to that there. Alright, that's kind of hard to press on. I'm going to get a little bit of help. Hopefully this driver will help me push this on because it is a pretty tight fit. Ah, helped great. I'm using that for all of them. All right. So the ones that are still intact, unlike that one, are now attached, and the driver helped a lot. So now I'm going to fit it, and it looks like I'm going to have to trim that carpet back a bit, but we're getting close, guys. So I got the door seal trim in, and as far as the trim goes, it fit pretty well, even with the one missing pin. And it lays well enough along the full length. I still have an issue with the way that buckles, but maybe over time it'll settle in. You know what? There are some things I would do differently, but that doesn't look bad. I'm sort of kicking myself because I did forget to put one piece back on the carpet. This is the same sort of piece that holds the rest of the door seal trim down. It turns this corner here. I was so focused on the big piece that I forgot to put this on. So whenever I decide to replace this or fasten the carpet with better staples, I'll throw this on. But for now, it's a little loose. I may do that sooner rather than later, but yeah, don't forget this piece. So there you have it. Even though there are a few trim pieces I still need to reinstall, and a few that I'll redo when I get the chance, the combination of the seats from an Integra and the new carpet make the interior a lot better. If you would like to follow along as I continue to improve my EJ1 Civic, my 89 K1500, or my Mark IV Golf, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.
You know these people did this for us on Juneteenth? So yes, Juneteenth. 'Cause that's